Call to order the meeting of the Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission for Monday, December 8th, 2025. Our first order of business is approval of the minutes from the November 24th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve those as presented.
Motion by Mr. Milborn, second by Mr. Price. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0. Special requests and continuances. I see 2 listed. Mr. Nelson, or do they?
The petitioner is here if they would like to make the request, but planning has asked them to continue these petitions. We are currently waiting on legal descriptions. A legal description is important for us to understand and know what parts of the property are being rezoned to each respective zone that they're requesting. So without that, they had an incomplete application. So they are here to request. I believe that they have requested to be in the January 12th Plan Commission meeting. And as long as that's enough time for them to get the legal descriptions for each zone, that should be okay with staff.
If the petitioner wants to step forward, they can.
John Cunningham with J. Gregory Allen Homes, and in this case, J. Gregory Allen Associates Inc. Both cases tonight have the same glitch, so to speak, in that they each have an RA component, and in this case that we need to define and outline exactly where the RA product will be in the new zoning, which we're unaware of. And this isn't neither of these are typical in that they're not just a block of one and a block of another. We're trying to integrate the product throughout itself and make for more cohesive development, which I think was everyone's goal, but this little nuance tripped us up. So we'll get those figured out and done up, and we'll come back in January.
All righty. So we'll do them separately. So for PC 2025-079, the Swartz Farms zone map change, there's a request to continue it to the January 12th Planning Commission.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Walker.
Second.
Second by Ms. Stambaugh. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0. Now for PC 2025-081, church property zone map change. Also requesting a continuance to the January 12th. Motion by Mr. Walker. Second by Mr. Price. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0. So we'll see you January 12th. So if anyone is here for the Swartz Farms zone map change later or the church property zone map change, those will be heard on January 12th at our meeting that day. No findings of fact. Old business is PC 2025-070, the Worthsville Development Lot 1, Block D plant vacation. Petitioner is David Marks on behalf of Anderson Hauser.
So hey, since I work for Anderson Hauser, I'm gonna.
Yeah. All right, we'll do that. And I've been advised we all already heard this, so this is just.
Was a redocketed matter. The hearing was conducted at the meeting on November 10th, but it did not result in official action by Indiana statute. For this body to take official action, it requires a vote of at least a majority of the entire membership, meaning it would have to be by a vote of at least 5 members. And it was a 4-4 tie. So it was redocketed for you to reconsider. Someone would like to make a motion.
Staff is here for questions as well as the petitioner as came as well. Public hearing is closed, but if you would like to deliberate or ask questions, that is acceptable.
Did
they obtained clarification on what they were trying to do with the lots. But that was the issue, wasn't it? They wanted to vacate.
Yeah, from planning staff perspective, I think that the intent is to have this all be under an Anderson Hauser plat, that they would replat and keep the easements, and that they are looking to just remove themselves from the current plat that they are in. Mostly for organization of their deeds and properties.
So has anything changed since the November 10th staff recommendation or denial? Recommendation to disapprove?
The replat was in process and submitted, so that is for tonight's meeting as well. The replat is kind of dependent on the vacation of this plat. It does give a little bit more clarity of how these easements and properties will be treated. It does look like they are keeping all the easements in place. And then I believe, Paul, not to put you on the spot, you had a conversation with them today just to talk more about the operation and maintenance manuals.
Right, after being able to review the operation and maintenance manuals for the Unicorn parcel and the Anderson Hauser parcel, they are completely separate. This project is not dependent upon the Unicorn parcel for their drainage. The operation and maintenance manuals, they'll take care of what they're building on their side, and the Unicorn will take care of theirs. Initially, there was that confusion, at least in my eyes, that was one project to begin with, and they split it up, and I forgot some of the details when they did that. And then I spoke to Mr. Marks earlier this afternoon to clarify some things. And then, as Gabe said, we did receive the replat for the new Anderson Hauser area that they'd like to final plat. And that did bring things, make things more clear as far as the easements, making sure that they were rededicating all those same exact easements.
If I remember right, that was kind of our concern, was we wanted to see vacation and replat really more together.
Yeah.
That way, it's not left hanging in what's happening with easements, if I remember right.
Yeah,
That was-
you're right.
that was kind of
I
okay.
gave staff the ability to review that
Mhm.
replat that had just been submitted for this meeting. So it's not just.
So Gabe, would
saying-
the proposed conditions change at all?
There was one condition that Paul and I had discussed earlier that we would, if this is approved, really like to add as a condition. And that is that the recording of the condition that if this is approved, needs to be contingent upon the new plat being completed and recorded. I don't think you can have two plats on one property necessarily, but the fear would be that if this is vacated and they decide not to continue forward with their primary replat, you'll grant the primary replat, but then they have to submit a secondary plat and a final plat and go down to the county and get that recorded. And if they abandon that process, we would have a section with no plat, with easements out there that have no real mapping to reference. And we would kind of create an issue there. So some type of a condition that would require them to simultaneously or within the same
So you had
Timeframe.
in the previous staff report, you had 3. Do those remain? Plus the additional 4th one you just asked for.
Yeah, I think those would remain, although an updated O and M manual. I don't know if this is required anymore. Paul seemed to be comfortable with both of the O and M manuals being separate documents. And I don't think that was a need to update the operation and maintenance manuals.
So we could strike that.
Yes.
So keep, for clarity, I'm just making sure we keep the first one about easements, covenants. We keep the legal document created regarding infrastructure maintenance. I'm kind of making sure we're clear for everybody.
But then added like a whole main heading, contingent upon new plat being completed.
Is that,
And if I may, the
Yeah.
second bullet, I think, is related to the third one.
To the O and M.
The O and M.
Which is why we want clarity. If you need conditions, we need to know. So is it staff's recommendation that if they approve it, that it's subject to the conditions that all easements, covenants, and restrictions are to remain the same? And contingent on the new plat being completed and recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought since that,
Oh, no, that's completely separate from this. I mean, from a procedural standpoint, that's how we can record the vacation, and then immediately subsequently follow that with the recording of the secretary.
anybody have any questions or comments? All right, well, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the petition filed by Anderson Hauser to vacate lot 1 and block D of the Rosewood Worthville Development commercial plat because conditions in the platted area change so as to defeat the original purpose of the plat, and the value of that part of land in that plat not owned by the petitioner will not be dismissed by the vacation, subject to the following conditions: all easements, covenants, and restrictions are to remain the same, and that it's contingent upon the new plat being completed and recorded. And to direct the president to sign on the commission's behalf a notice of determination regarding the approval of the vacation as prepared by the planning director, and to the direct petitioner as at its expense to furnish a copy of the notice of determination to the county recorder for recording.
I have a motion by Ms. Stambaugh and a second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0.
6-0.
Or 6-0, sorry. Okay. Old business is done. Any old business from the floor? All right, seeing none. New business is PC 2025-072, the Anderson Hauser primary replat related to this same area. This is a public hearing, so it'll be 15 minutes. Petitioner, there'll be 15 minutes for anyone to speak against it if they wish, and then 5 minutes rebuttal for each. For this, anyone wishing to speak to this, I do need to be sworn in by our secretary.
You swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
For the record on this docket, if you can give your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. David Marks, V3 Companies, 1060 North Capitol, Indianapolis. I do have a graphic that I think we can share. Great, appreciate it. You pick the EX1 clean primary plat. Thank you. So we're here tonight for primary plat approval of what will be Anderson Hauser's full campus. This includes the 2 previous now approved vacations. One, the CNN subdivision that was approved at last meeting, which when it comes back up, is at the southeast corner along Cushville. So this now is inclusive of that, and it is inclusive of lots 1 and block D, which were just approved, the vacations on that plat, and then also the existing Anderson Hauser commercial plat. And so it essentially combines all of the lots that Anderson Hauser controls in this area. It allows for them to work through some deed issues that they have, some lot ownership issues internally. Anderson Hauser is a larger umbrella company with individual entities on their campus. All of the existing easements is a similar conversation to the plat that was just approved to be vacated. All of the existing easements within the existing Anderson Hauser subdivision, that plat will remain the same. We're not making any changes there. What it does allow us to do is now take the previous, I believe it was 3 lots from the CNN subdivision that was vacated at the last meeting, combine that into 1 lot and clean up those easements so that it's better suited for Anderson Hauser to develop at some point. We are also adding or cleaning up and adding some access easements between these, and that's more for internal to Anderson Hauser, their procedures and granting access between the various entities. There is a current project expansion that's happening to their flow tech facility, and as part of this replat, we're adding in some of the drainage easements and sanitary easements, just because of the way the lots are divided. They can grant access from one to the other for those purposes. So there's no improvements that are happening as part of this. That project's currently in the works to be approved at some point. But as part of this primary replat, there are improvements that we're proposing, and like I said, all the easements are remaining the same. This is just to help create this one cohesive larger Anderson Hauser plat.
Right. Is there anyone else wishing to speak to this docket item? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and turn it over to Steph.
In our technical review report, we were unfavorable, although we did reference that if both of the plats were vacated, a favorable recommendation is possible. It's not only possible, it's desired now, because we do not want to have these vacated plats unplatted. We would prefer for them to be under a plat. So I am favorable of this. We'd also noted that they needed to get outside review approval. Outside review approval came in on Friday of last week, so that has been completed. So staff is favorable of this petition.
So basically a change from this before.
Yes.
And no conditions.
I think we were covered under the condition of the previous thing, so I have no conditions for this docket.
All right. Any questions from the commissioners? All right. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move to approve the proposed primary replat of Anderson Hauser submitted by V3 Companies on behalf of Anderson Hauser docket PC 2025-072, because the primary plat complies with the Unified Development Ordinance subdivision standards, and to direct the president to sign in the commission's behalf to the notice of determination and written findings regarding approval of the primary replat as prepared by the technical director.
Motion by Ms. Stanball, second by Mr. Price. All those in favor, please show by raising a hand.
If you'll excuse me, I will pause.
All right, motion carries 7-0 for, or 6-0, that's right. That's twice I've done. Counting is hard. All right, replat is approved, so.
Appreciate it so much.
Pause for just a second while we bring Mr. Walker back to the commission. All right, as they get ready, next item is PC 2025-078, Greenwood Meadows Lot 4, 5, 6 plat vacation. Petitioner is Gregory Ilko on behalf of Residential Care 9 LLC, requesting a plat vacation of lots 4, 5, and 6 of Greenwood Meadows subdivision to combine with an adjoining unplatted parcel for a new commercial subdivision plat. This also is a public hearing where there will be 15 minutes for the petitioner and 15 for any demonstrators to speak against. Likewise, all those wishing to speak to this docket item, please be sworn in by our secretary.
You swear under penalties for perjury, the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
And if we could get your name and address for the record.
Absolutely. Dustin Myers, Foster Engineers, 115 North 17th Avenue, Beach Road, Indiana, 46107.
Wes Jackson, DW, LLC, 6900 South Ray Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46237.
All right.
So this evening on this petition, we are asking for a plat vacation for a future primary plat to be known as Greenwood Place. The location of this project site is in the upper northwest corner of the city limits within Greenwood. More specifically, it is on the south side of County Line Road, approximately a quarter mile west of State Road 135. The current zoning district is the commercial medium or CM district. The existing conditions are, as you can see on the screen, there's a handful of undeveloped or vacant lots. Also the Greenwood Meadows Assisted and Nursing Facility, along with 3 commercial businesses fronting State Road 135. The current plat contains 8 lots. Those uses were just shown in the previous slide. The plat vacation being requested this evening is for lots 4 through 7, highlighted on the screen. These lots will be comprised of future residential multifamily structures, along with a clubhouse and a detention facility that is more along the lines for the next petition, the primary plat approval. So I will back up to the plat vacation, and I think I'm assuming you want to go through an action on this, and then we'll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just for clarity for the record.
Understood.
Anything else for the plat vacation? Anything else? Okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak against this? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and turn this over to staff.
Staff is favorable of this petition with no conditions. We feel that it meets the criteria and that the previous plat no longer serves its intended purpose in this area.
All right, any questions from the commissioners? Mr. Milborn?
I believe the gentleman said they were vacating 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Just 4, 5, and 6.
Okay,
I want to make sure I get so for the clarity. So you're vacating 4, 5, and 6. 7 is
7 will be maintained. Actually, lot 7 is the current Walgreens lot at the hard corner of 135.
just that way we have that clear. Anybody else? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the partial plat vacation under PC 2025-078 without conditions. I move to approve that petition filed by Residential Care, I'm assuming that's a 9, LLC, to vacate lots 4, 5, and 6 of the Greenwood Meadows subdivision plat because conditions in the platted area have changed so as to defeat the original purpose of the plat. It is in the public interest to vacate part of the plat, and the value of that plat of the land in the plat not owned by the petitioner will not be diminished by the vacation, to direct the president to sign in the commission's behalf the notice of determination regarding the approval of the vacation as prepared by the planning director, and to direct petitioner at its expense to furnish a copy of the notice of determination to the county recorder for recording.
I would make one recommended change that you authorize the vice president to sign that as the president is not here.
That's fine.
Motion by Mr. Milborn, second by Mr. Walker. Last comments, questions? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries at 7-0. All right, next up, PC 2025-069 Greenwood Place Primary Plat. Also a public hearing. You'll be sworn in.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
All right, for this record, since each one's a separate record, name and address.
Dustin Myers, Crossroad Engineers, 115 North 17th Avenue, East Grove, Indiana, 46107.
Wes Jackson, 6900 South Railroad, Indiana, 46237, on behalf of LLC managing.
Okay.
I will spare the spiel from before. We'll just get right into the primary plat layout. As mentioned, there were proposed six multifamily residential structures, a clubhouse and amenity area in the southwest corner of this development, along with a detention facility, and then the access roadways and sidewalks needed for the overall project. There also is a waiver being requested, and that is due to the garage components with these structures. I believe the ordinance requires a 5-foot planting area adjacent to the front facades.
Yeah, the landscape strip, we had asked for that to be removed from the primary plat as one of the conditions that the technical review committee had offered. Sorry to interrupt. That would come with the commercial site plan and the secondary plat. I don't believe we've received a waiver form with the criteria for it at this time, but I could be incorrect. It's been a busy week. So.
Understood. Well, we'll scratch the waiver request now, and we'll do that down the road.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just want to make sure anything else for the
I don't
primary
think I
plat?
have anything else. I think I've taken.
Anyone wishing to speak against? Seeing none, close this public hearing and turn it over to staff.
Yeah, so really short technical review committee report on this one. There was not a whole lot of comments at this time. We were favorable of this petition. We did have a few conditions to our favorable recommendation, which were to remove the 5-foot landscaping strip on the plat. We don't want that to be a platted easement requirement. That is a more of a site plan approval. To address the remaining comments, the final outside review approval to be received, and for the plat vacation and lot size variance to be approved. They were approved for lot size variance. Just the last meeting, the findings will be prepared in January, and you have just vacated the old plat. So that last condition that we recommended is no longer relevant.
So there were three.
Yes.
One, two. Yeah. What are the comments to be addressed?
Outside review,
Oh, okay.
goes to the outside
just going
reviewer,
back to-
and they sometimes, they have comments or things that need to be tweaked or revised.
I just didn't
slightly.
see any in the minutes.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
what
same
I'm
with
like,
them. Okay.
And for clarity, the BZA approved a variance to increase the lot size, so
Good
that's,
question.
That's what he's addressing there. Anybody, anything else? With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Vice President, I move to approve the proposed primary plat of Greenwood Place submitted by Crossroad Engineers, PC docket PC 2025-069, subject to the 3 recommended technical review committee conditions. 1, the 5-foot landscaping be removed. 2, that all comments be addressed. 3, that the receipt of final outside review approval. Yeah, I think there's an extra article with definition there. Keep going. Because the primary plat complies with the Unified Development Ordinance subdivision standard, and to direct the Vice President to sign on the Commission's behalf. The notice of determination and written findings regarding the approval of the primary plat as prepared.
Motion by Ms. Stanball, second by Mr. Milborn. All those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0. I think finally you get to. Next up will be PC 2025-073, the Octave primary plat. Petitioner is Praveen Raja Nahali, requesting primary plat approval for approximately 0.8 acres located at 141 East County Line Road. This will be a public hearing where there'll be 15 minutes for the petitioner and then 15 minutes for anyone to speak against. All those wishing to speak to this, please stand and be sworn by our secretary.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
Go ahead.
Sorry, is that county line in Sherman?
It is.
It is, okay.
Do you, all right, go ahead.
Do you swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge?
Okay. Name and address for the record.
Sure. Andy Gerben, 13520 Shakamak Drive, Carmel, Indiana, representing Gerben Engineering and the petitioner for me. So,
go ahead.
Unfortunately, I did not bring the right flash drive, so it is just me talking up here today. But what this is
You said what, right?
we'd have to use the primary plat that we sent before, but the this is a platting going through the vacation of a 2-lot subdivision at the corner of 2 lots out of the subdivision at the corner of 141 East County Line Road in Sherman Drive. So it is in the southwest corner. Like I said, this is being platted into 1 lot currently, so we've just taken away the property lines there. This primary plat will be moving forward after this with a condo development on that site. It is proposed to have 4 units on it. Actually 4 buildings, 8 units total, but it'll be a condo development. They'll be owner occupied. So we are in agreement with all the comments and recommendations. Recommendations from the planning department. We have met locally with some of the neighbors in a meeting last week, but I'm open for any questions you might have on this.
Well, once we get the public hearing done, we'll have the commissioners. So if you're wishing to speak against this or speak for it, now's your time for this is the Sherman Drive.
Marissa and Devin Boston here. We're at 1189 Jody Court, and this will be in our backyard. Recording in progress.
My apologies.
So we weren't able to go to that meeting because we were both working on Friday. I think that's what they're talking about. Yeah, of course, right. Neither one of us could we. So basically, we understand that people need places to live, but also how our property is. It will literally be in our backyard. We have 3 girls. And we talked about last time having 8 new families come in. They're all going to be upstanding citizens and all that. So basically, we want to know, is there anything that can be done from our standpoint that it could not happen, or is this something that's going to happen and we just have to deal with it?
And
through this whole process, so we're trying to understand where we are in things, if there's any clarification we can get there. I mean, is there still being a vote on it being completed? I know it was vacated and that was approved last time, right?
Yeah, so the step we're at now, the primary plat is really, you're dealing with,
The subdivisions standards in our UDO, and it is a ministerial act, so there is no discretion of this body. If the plat meets the standards and requirements of the subdivision control provisions, then it has to be approved. If they do not approve it, they have to specifically set forth what standards were not met for primary platting purposes.
and I think the best way to say this step is basically property lines. We're not really talking about what's on the property, right?
Correct, to answer your question directly, it'd be more about the drainage easements, the property, the right of way, things that are in our subdivision control ordinance. That would be what it pertains to.
So to help you understand, we are discussing what's on the land, but we're not really discussing it. It's more about how the land will be divided or not divided. So that helps.
But it is zoned to allow
Yeah.
condominium units, that is allowed.
Right, because that happened last
Right.
month. Correct.
So if that helps what this is tonight.
Okay, I don't know if this is a place to ask them, but I mean, I guess we're just curious on timelines of things then and whatever information we can get about this so we can decide whether or not we want to stay, essentially. So I don't know what clarity we can get on the next steps of the process or what we can find out to know the timeline and things like that.
I think that it would be best, maybe Mr. Nelson, if after the hearing and after the meeting, might be able to answer that better.
During staff's time to speak, I'll address some of their questions and concerns, but if they have any specific concerns about the development,
Okay,
now would be the time to speak.
okay.
Okay, I mean, I guess concerns about the development would just be, again, forgive me, this isn't, quite the appropriate way to lay it out, but I know it was mentioned the last meeting we were at that there's duplexes or whatever in the division, but I would argue that none of them are set up the way that this is being proposed. It's all like a single house, backyard house, where there's a good space between them, and it's just like it's a single unit, maybe two families that live in it. So we're talking about something that's drastically different than anything else that's in the neighborhood, and that's our concern. Is it's not I guess kind of congruent with whatever else is in place, which is why it's so jarring to us. And then I guess just talking about the property lines and things, the concern would be how close is the property going to butt up to our backyard, which essentially goes to the creek line at that point where the easement is. So yeah, I guess that's my concern, is just what else is going to be taking place in that area directly behind us, and then just, you mentioned like the logistics of it fitting into the criteria of the neighborhood, and that's my concern, is it's not something that is like what's in the rest of it, which is our primary concern, I guess. Did you have? Okay. I guess that's it.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, so some of the stuff you've asked, we'll have staff answer when they speak here in a minute.
Okay.
So,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Petitioner will have 5 minutes now to respond to anything you brought up.
Can you write your email down?
Sure.
I'm sure I'll have more questions later.
No problem.
If I could add one thing.
Sure.
So to help them with their concerns, in the meeting the other day, that was raised by other people as well about the backyards and how it would be treated in the backyards. So if I can kind of go over that real quickly, and you've got my card now, so feel free to call me and we can kind of go over some more of this. And this is not really the right time for this, the next hearings are, which staff will tell you about. But to let you know, we did talk in that meeting about a fence across the entire property line. It would be probably a shadow box fence, 6 foot tall, that would cut that off, landscaping as well. So it would separate that. The house is then 40 feet north of that fence. So it is separate from it. So, okay, to give you some, and we could go over the drawings later sometime if you like. Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Any other concerns?
Well, we'll get questions from the commission. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I do not. So, thank you.
You have 5 minutes for anything closing if you want. All right. With that, I will close the public hearing and let staff take it from here.
Sure, sorry about my iPad earlier. I was trying to pull up the plans and I find myself unable to disable my speakers on my iPad. Every time I turn on the volume, they turn up a little bit. I'm gonna try to join just so we can see the plan itself, but I'll do that in a moment after I'm done answering some of the questions so the feedback doesn't get to me. So this is a primary plat. They essentially look like 4 two-story residential units. They will be split, so they'll are 4 buildings, 8 units. The common area will be maintained by the association. So the yard area around it, they have shown that they have some overflow parking for guests, which I'll show on the primary plat in a moment once I get that up. As far as the appropriate time to speak, I would be happy to provide you with my business card. If you just stay for a moment after the meeting, I can give you my email and my contact, as well as the petitioners for your information. This is a primary plat, so it is based on the subdivision control ordinance. The city has to have a specific set of standards so that developers looking to, or homeowners looking to do something in the city have a clear understanding of what they can and can't do with their property. So that is why those are in place. So it is more of a procedural vote. This would eliminate one of the cuts onto County Line Road, reduce it to 1 cut, which is where their small kind of private drive will access. So staff was glad to see that the number of access points onto County Line Road were decreasing. As the petitioner mentioned, we did meet with surrounding property owners, one of our council members, and with the petitioner to go over the plans in detail, just to help people understand the project a little better. But right now, I'll just try to quickly show it to you, and I'm going to turn off my mic and hopefully not get as much feedback. Sharing my screen here. Me looking up how to disable my speaker. So with this, the staff report, we do have a few conditions. We are favorable, but we do have conditions that our comments are addressed, that outside review is received, that the zone map change commitments.
Yeah, commitments, not the actual ordinance.
Are recorded, and that the plat application is finalized. Block A, it's can be divided into a maximum of 8 lots. And as you can see here, we have an access that I've zoomed into off of County Line Road. This drive T's. At this T, there are some overflow parking spots, as well as some parallel parking spots that they've outlined. And that will be further reviewed with the secondary plat and the residential site plan. But what you have are your units here that are attached. So there are 4 buildings here for the plat. That's all.
All right, commissioners, any questions?
Can you put the drawing back up there, Gabe, real quick? Just to. That shadow box fence is at the back line of the property there.
It's along 2 lines, actually, it's along the west line and along the entire south line as well. That was a request. The other side's out to a street, actually, the 2 are out to streets, really, so.
This is the back. You can see where there are a lot of dashed lines. That is on the property to the south. There is a swell there where the ground kind of recesses. So that is kind of open space. And then you can see there is actually a fence south of there on the neighbor's property. So there would be quite a bit of distance before you would get to anyone's residential dwelling. And then you say you're also doing it on the west side?
That's correct.
Okay.
I have a question about drainage, if you don't mind. There seems to be like a swale going through this. Is there could be an analysis done on the drainage to make sure that it's not a problem for this particular project or for anybody downstream?
Yeah, I can address that. So with your release requirements under the ordinance, very strict, right? So it reduces the amount of runoff from the site tremendously. It does not increase at all. So it is actually reduced on the site through the use of the bioretention system or a detention system, if you would. It is not, it would be dry, but would not be a wet pond.
So you're making provisions for it?
Yeah, it's already taken care of. So it's already been submitted. So
very good, thank you.
You bet.
Yeah, it's actually isn't a question. I just wanted the remonstrators to know that. I know this process can be super complex and difficult to understand, especially if it's not something we address every day in our lives. And, you know, being people that live here in Greenwood, a lot of this stuff is on our website, on the greenwoodcity.gov website. You can look at the agenda and all of those details they just showed, so that you can help kind of follow the process as each of these things happen. So, and it's not always, our role as commissioners in the City Planning Commission is not to approve or deny something that we would or wouldn't like personally, or that our friends would or wouldn't like. It's just whether or not it fits within the ordinances and the rules that we're bound by approving and not approving. I just want you guys to really understand that.
Anybody else? Not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. President, concerning PC 2025-073, motion to approve primary plat with conditions. I move to approve the proposed primary plat of the Octave residential subdivision submitted by Girdom Engineering, docket PC 2025-073, subject to the 4 conditions recommended by the Technical Review Committee. Number 1, that all commitments are addressed. Number 2, receipt of final outside review approval. Number 3, the recording of the zoning commitment set forth in ordinance 25-27. And number 4, finalization of plat vacation. Because the primary plat complies with the UDO subdivision standards, and to direct the president to sign in the commission's behalf, which would be the vice president in this case, the notice of determination and written findings regarding the approval of primary plat is prepared by the planning director.
A motion to approve by Mr. Walker, second by Mr. Milborn. Any last comments, thoughts? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up is PC 2025-075, the Winfell annexation zone map change. Petitioners Tony Bagato and Bath Barber Homes requesting to annex 42.38 acres located between Combs Road and 5 Points Road, just north of 756 5 Points Road. The proposed zoning is residential medium. All this is a public hearing. All those wishing to speak to this, please stand and be sworn in.
You swear under penalties for perjury, the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge.
Yes. All right, and like all of the others, will be 15 minutes for the petitioner, 15 for any demonstrators to speak against.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Tony Bagato with Arbor Homes. Our address is 9225 Harrison Park Court in Indianapolis. And I have a quick presentation just to kind of go over the proposed request here for PC 2025-075. The rezone / annexation is known as Winfell. So I got a typo on my first page, sorry about that. Should be Winfell annexation. And again, with Arbor Homes, we've been around for 30 years building in the market locally. We serve as a home builder that provides customization for our homeowners, something that's very well received by our buyers and residents. The site here is approximately 56.45 acres in between North Combs Road as well as North 5 Road. North 5 Points Road, sorry. Just east of the Sage Briar Del Webb community by Pulte, and there's a Pulte subdivision to our north that's been previously platted as well. So our site's highlighted here in yellow with the areas identified in white there. Our concept plan is showing what a site would look like under the RM zoning, and we're proposing to be rezoned RM as part of the annexation. The details of the site plan would be able to accommodate 164 single-family homes. Minimum lot size in RM is 60 feet. These are 61 and larger. We have several larger for 3-car garages that get up to 71 feet. The overall density of the site comes out to 2.47 units per acre. Access to this site is served through 2 main roads that are on your east and west side, and left and right, as you see in the concept plan. So again, on the west is coming from North Combs Road, and from the east is coming from 5 Points Road, across from Del Webb. And then there's, internally, we have 3 smaller, showing with those smaller arrows, internal stub streets. The one to the north, again, that is already platted by Pulte, and so that will connect, and then the others 2 to the south will be for future connections, anticipating how that should develop to the south in the future. Our common area accommodates almost 8.8 acres of open space, a little under 7 acres of pond area, totaling 15.57 acres, or about 23% of the site. We will include playground area and walking trails that are highlighted here as well. So the picture of a playground of a typical community we have, one we built here in central Indiana. Walking paths that will be throughout the community, as well as our common open space around the ponds and natural areas. The homes we plan on building on this site will be our traditional arbor homes. We've been building for about 30 years in the market. It's a combination of ranch and 2-story homes. We offer 12 floor plans with up to 5 different elevations for each one, with various options. And then square footage range between 1,600 to 3,100 on those plans. They also have the options for sunrooms and 3-car garages if the lot's wide enough, as well as other features we can add, like basements if the soils allow for that as well. We also offer, because again, customization is an option with or something our homeowners can do with us. We have a design center at our office. They come in and meet with our professionals. We pick out all their interior finishes, all their colors, and something that's really well received by our buyers. And this is an anticipated timeline. If approved and zoned, we would anticipate starting construction late 2026, with section 1 starting around 2027, and section 2 2028, anticipation completing around 2030, if all approved goes well. And with that, I'm available for any questions.
Well, we'll get to those after the public hearing.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for the project? All right, seeing none, all those wishing to speak against.
Michael Meyer, 756 North Five Points Road, Greenwood, 46143.
Go ahead.
I just want to know the quality of these homes being built, because I have a custom built home. Are these going to be that $300,000 home? And they're devaluing my home that's way above that. Next thing, the property line, are they going to put up fencing to separate my property from this addition and the other homes around it? Because, yeah, they've got walking trails. And are the kids gonna come over and play in my field? You know, somebody gets hurt, I'm the guy that gets sued. With more homes, here just recently, they started running radar. Are we gonna have more police presence? Because more homes means more crime, unfortunately. You know, we're close to the interstate, and everybody knows how that works. Even if they don't run radar, because they're speeding up and down, what are they gonna do with the roads? It is a country road, so is Combs Road. And then have you thought about the traffic? Because that's why they're building it, because it's close to the interstate. Everybody, I can get to work, get to Indianapolis, I can get to Columbus. Also, the lighting, because I'm right across the road from the Del Webb edition. And the lights, they shine into our house all night long. And we've talked with them, and they have done, you know, tried to put shades or whatever on their lighting, but it's still very bright. They have 2 retention ponds, but still all those homes are gonna get assessed a ditch tax for Grubbs Ditch. Well, Grubbs, those retention ponds are meant to handle the runoff. So most of that water's not even gonna go to Grubbs Ditch. So really they're getting taxed unfairly. Trying to think what else here. Also, I work for UPS, and I know how it works. They're gonna be in and out of there. FedEx, Amazon, UPS, the post office is gonna be in there every day. The traffic. Are we thinking about that? And back to the police. If you have more homes, you're gonna need more police officers, you know. And they thought about, hey, we're gonna have to add more patrols. And the school buses, they're gonna have, now these are family homes, so you're gonna have school buses in and out of there at least twice a day, if not more. And that's really about it.
All right. Well, as a commission, we're not necessarily here to answer that. Now that in his rebuttal, the petitioner very well may answer some of that. But that's it. Those are points that you can bring up, and he can certainly speak to those.
Well, I just want you to be
Sure,
aware of
I
what,
understand.
you know, these things that we see, you know, I'm not just the only custom built home there. There's one to the north of me and there's one behind me, you know, and all of a sudden you have these less expensive, and I'm not gonna call them cheaper or anything by any means, but if you know, it just brings out the value of my property. If I ever want to sell and move forward, there's one.
Sure. Like I said, the petitioner in his rebuttal may be able to answer some of this for you. That may help you. And if he doesn't, you'll have 5 minutes to offer any closing remarks after he's done too. So
Well, thank you for your time. I
you're welcome.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Mr. Regatta.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I tried to address some of those. I mean, I can't address everything that was raised, but, first for the quality of the homes, our homes, we believe, we built quality homes. We've been successful here for 30 years and had successful clients as a local builder, not a nationally publicly traded company. So I think that those speaks for itself. Construction wise, all the homes comply with all the same standards. And, from our end, construction homes as well as our highest end homes use the same subcontractors that build the smaller homes, I'd say, but still. So those are, these go through inspections, they go through all the city codes and zoning requirements. We have architectural standards we'll comply with based on the zoning standards. So for a quality standpoint, I'm not concerned. The market, that's hard to speak to, that it changes, as market demands go up and down. And today's next to farmland, so I don't know if that's more valuable. When you have development next door, you tend to get infrastructure improvements and other utilities that bring in more value as well. So there's other things that come into the community that would raise property taxes in there, in my opinion. For the traffic, we did provide a traffic study, and there's a commitment about providing it, but we already submitted that with this proposal. As you're aware, the next level, if the zoning is approved, this is more done at a high level right now. We're in stage 1. Next thing would be a primary plat. That's where we get into more details of the construction. And so in the commitments, as well as the traffic study, there will be some road widening to address the traffic. I know that there's a commitment for future dedication of funds towards future roundabouts. So as these areas continue to grow, there will be improvements in new tax dollars and development costs to help offset those infrastructure issues that might be there today. As it comes for, police and fire or crime, things like that was brought up. This is today currently in the county. As part of the annexation, there is a fiscal plan that was prepared by staff, and it does show that based on the taxes gained off of the 164 homes, that there's a net positive towards adding to those new services that we need to provide if they're required, and that for that annexation to be done. Lighting, we would apply, we would comply with all the city standards. I'm not sure what the lighting is like there at Del Webb, so I'll look into that further before we submit our plat. That's the kind of stuff that would come up more during the planning phase. And lastly, I think that's really all I had to address. We weren't providing any fencing out in the last one. There's no fencing required under the code, so there's no proposed fencing around the subdivision.
Okay. All right. With that, we'll turn it over to Mr. Myers if you have 5 minutes, sir, if you wish to. Okay. With that, I will close the public hearing. First, we'll hear from staff.
Yeah, so this is really a recommendation for 2 different things going on here. We have an annexation. This is currently located in Johnson County. It's actually in a hole that is surrounded by greenwood on many sides. This is a logical area for an annexation into greenwood. It is consistent with our future comprehensive plan or future growth maps. We are supportive of the annexation for this petition. We also provided a favorable recommendation for the zone map change from AR, which is a county zone, to RM, which is residential medium. We do face kind of a challenge with committing them to maybe more housing variety or housing types, as we've kind of talked about in the past. With the RA zoning, it really only allows for single family homes in contrast with other zones that may allow for other zoning types. With our favorable recommendation, staff did recommend that a traffic study be completed, which the commissioner has already worked on, but we'd like to put that in there. We also have a restricted donation amount that we would determine based on that traffic impact study to help with some of the roundabout and traffic improvements that were brought up during the public hearing. Along with that, Combs Road and Five Points Road improvements would be completed in coordination with the city engineering division. And we'd also look for pedestrian crossing to connect the overall trail system that is in our future trail plan. And then the last commitment we had, we would like there to be an effort made to line the 5 Point Road entrance with the entrance that goes into the Del Webb Sagefriar community. This would be to help align the traffic flow, the intersection, to not have the intersections be offset. North of this property, we've currently already had a petition come through and they have been primary platted and they have their own access as well. And where the Del Webb street cut lines up is in between those properties. So they would have to coordinate with the property north of them. I understand we cannot, in this meeting, require or commit a property that is not involved in this transit action to align their entrance. But we would like to, staff would coordinate a meeting with the relevant stakeholders to see if we can get them to come to an agreement. We're just asking for a reasonable conversation and effort from Arbor to try to work with their neighbors to the north to align that entrance. And that is all we have.
All right, commissioners.
Was there any effort to do any mixed density residential? Was that even considered? I mean, it's gonna be what, 164 homes on 66 acres? We talked about it in mixed density.
Yeah, that's something we did discuss early on with staff, but we don't build any attached or products. We don't have townhomes or duplexes, so we would have to carve off a chunk and leave that to another developer, which is a little more challenging for us. And given the proximity to Del Webb and speaking with Pulte, because we did talk to them already about some infrastructure needs, they felt that this was, from their Del Webb community, they felt this was better compatibility than having more density, higher density product.
Let's back up, or a secondary question on that same issue. You have floor plans that are 1,600 to 3,000 square feet. So you take in a large section of the market depending on people's income. So you have smaller homes and then bigger homes in your product.
Well, yeah, the 1,600 tend to be the ranch plans, so we have several ranch plans that are going to be less square footage, but they're still Arbor product. We have a different line that we're not building here that we call Arrival. Those are our new entry-level price point homes that we're not building here. Those are smaller, like 1,100 to 1,900 square foot homes, but that's not part of this proposal. This is all for Arbor, and those would be Arrivals on 40-foot wide lots, and these are 60, so it's not compatible. We're not proposing that here.
But you still have a range of floor plan sizes, so you can tap into different markets.
Correct.
People's income.
Correct, yes. And range plans tend to also be better for people who are looking to step down in their home sizes and have smaller plans as well.
Thank you.
Sounds to me like it's consistent with everything else that's out there.
I have one question on the concept plan. This is just my understanding. Looks to me like there's a access stub to one of the previous homes there. Is that right? Are we good?
Yeah, that was requested by staff. We added that. So it would be connected if that ever developed by somebody else.
Okay, I was just curious. I'd never seen that before. So
Which one is that?
The one in the south,
east, south, yeah, sort of southeast corner.
It runs diagonal to the property where there's a home.
That other street stubs into the woods, right?
Correct.
Which I figured that is stubbing to future plan.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what this one was just odd to me, that we were stubbing to a pre-existing house, but I mean, I don't care. It's also the.
Yeah, it would only occur if that house went away with the development. So
Yeah.
just
for them in an emergency.
So I just wanted to ask about Mr. Meyer's question about the ditch tax. How does that, I mean, that was something that in my 2 years on the commission, I don't think I'd ever heard or understood.
defer to staff and legal, but I believe it's county, right?
So, yeah, that's, the county,
Yes.
the county has a county surveyor, and, they have an assessment that they have based on, which ditch area you fall into. Even when projects annex into the city, it becomes city, projects, we still need to work with and coordinate with the county surveyor. And he still has jurisdiction over, or, legal rights over the, drains and the areas. So people in Greenwood might be assessed a ditch tax or a fee for, their, if they live in a certain area, and that would go to the county even though they live in the city.
There's nothing we can change anyway.
And if I
Statutory.
recall, it's kind of based on your proximity to that. So if you don't live near it and don't drain to it, you may never see it.
Yeah, I would have to see if this is in the grub ditch, catchment, of where, this, I'm not as familiar with this.
I'm just kind of talking in the broad sense of the ditch tax, so you may never see it on a tax bill,
Right.
potentially.
Yeah,
Correct.
I just wanted to address
Yeah.
some of Mr. Myers' questions, and then, the things about crime, and obviously we covered traffic a little bit with the traffic study, and it will be addressed with the roundabout and, prospectively. But with the widening of the tax base, I think a lot of your other issues that you brought up, Mr. Myers, will be inadvertently addressed. Radar, crime, traffic, increase of maybe students, you did bring that up, but all of that gets addressed when we build more houses and have a larger tax base.
Can I ask, where would the roundabouts be? Open the roundabouts, which I'm pro roundabout.
That's a good question.
Well, and I believe the commitment, Mr. Nelson, the commitments, Main Street, Combs and Main Street 5 points, right?
Yeah, 5 points in Main and Combs Road and Main Street. And, encourage you that if you look at our future, land use plan and our transportation plan, that's the word I was looking for. It's in our comprehensive plan that was approved in 2024. And on that, there is a traffic map that shows all of the proposed future roundabouts. So when we have a development that's going in near a roundabout where we feel that their traffic is, through a traffic study, going to be impacting that intersection, we do look for a restrictive donation that would be restricted so that the city can only spend it for that roundabout in that area to help make those improvements a reality for the citizens of Greenwood.
I think the final thing I've got is we pretty much require road improvements with projects like this being proposed. So 5 Points Road will see within the bounds of their property line. Combs Road within the bounds of their property lines. We'll see
Across the frontage, yes.
improvements. Anybody else have anything?
Well, then I would remind you the statutory criteria you are to pay reasonable regard to in making a recommendation on this annexation and rezone request. 1, the comprehensive plan. 2, the current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in each district. 3, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. 4, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood. And 5, responsible development and growth.
And with that, I will entertain a motion.
I move that PC 2025-075, the petition for annexation of approximately 66.45 acres known as the Indy Land Group, Inc., and Robert and Cindy Taylor properties generally located near 760 5 Points Road, between 5 Points Road and Combs Road, which are contiguous to the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, and its zoning designation as RM, residential medium. Lot formal as set forth therein receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented with the following commitments. Number one, a traffic study shall be completed. Number two, work with engineering and planning staff in determining a restricted donation amount for the proposed 5 Points Main and Combs Main roundabouts. Number three, Combs Road and 5 Points Road improvements shall be completed in coordination with the city engineering division. Number four, work with engineering to provide a pedestrian crossing of Combs Road and 5 Points Road to connect to trail systems. And number five, an effort shall be made to align the entrance of 5 Points Road with the entrance of Sagebriar. This alignment aims to improve traffic flow, safety, and enhance the overall area. Staff will coordinate with relevant stakeholders to ensure the commitments is effectively implemented. Staff recognizes that we cannot place a commitment on properties that are external to this petition.
I have a motion by Mr. Milborn. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Probst. Any last questions or comments on this? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0. Next up, PC 2025-076, Adkins Johnson Zone Map Change. Petitioner is Brian Toohey on behalf of Grand Communities LLC, requesting a zone map change for approximately 32.96 acres located in the northwest corner of Smoky Row Road and Honey Creek Road. This is a public hearing, so all those speaking in favor will have 15 minutes to speak combined. All those opposed will have 15 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to speak for or against, please stand and be sworn by our secretary.
You swear under penalties for perjury the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge.
I do.
Mr. Toohey, if we can get your name and address on the record.
Thank you, members of planning, Mr. President, members of the Planning Commission, good evening. Planning Brian Toohey. My address is 9294 North Meridian, Indianapolis 46260. Here with me tonight on behalf of the petitioner is Curtis Musey from Grand Communities LLC, an affiliated company of Fisher Homes, a well-known privately held home building company that's active here in central Indiana and actually has communities here in Greenwood. Also here from Fisher is Amanda Deerdorf, who's in charge of land acquisitions, and Brent Gavin, also involved in the entitlement process for Fisher Homes. And lastly, but certainly not least, is Ashley Wallace, our engineer from Bayer and Becker. Thank you for hearing our case this evening. This case involves a potential rezoning, a requested rezoning of a site on the northwest corner of Honey Creek Road and Smoky Row Road. And what Fisher Homes and Grand Communities, the petitioner would respectfully request is a rezoning of about 32.9, let's call it 33 acres from AG to RM, residential medium, to allow for development of 49 single-family home lots, which we'll cover here in a minute. And then the screen before you, let's talk for a second about the site and what's around it. As I mentioned, it's on the northwest corner of Honey Creek Road and Smoky Row Road, and there's just called 33 acres. Directly north of it, this body might recall that there's a community called Honey Creek Farms that sort of wraps around this site to the west and to the north. But between that is a site that's owned by the school corporation, to our understanding. To the east is Honey Creek Road, and then to the east along there is Tracy Road, which heads out east. And then there's a substation sort of east and south on the corner of Honey Creek Road and Smoky Row Road. To the south,
There's some land owned by a couple of churches in there. There's Lone Pine Farms, there's Scottsdale Estates. Then you go further west, there's single family homes, and then Honey Creek Farms. It comes in further west, and then of course Redwood Apartments, and then the Kroger Retail Center on the southeast corner of 135 and Smoky Grove Road. So around the site, there's kind of a smattering of development. There's a potential school site, there's single family homes, there's a substation. Actually, I think there's also a landscape company, True Love Lawn Care, which is on the southwest corner of Honey Creek and Smoky Grove Road. This next slide was a recent photograph. That's looking north and west at the site. So on the left side of that photograph is Smoky Road going west, and to the right is Honey Creek. That's actually taken, that photograph is actually taken from this substation. So it's a sort of an infill site, and it's not a large site, it's only 33 acres. When you're considering zoning, as Sean has indicated, the criteria you look at, one of the criteria is what's around you in terms of zoning. And you can see the site there is on the corner of Honey Creek and Smoky Road. To the south, it's zone AG. To the south, there's RM, which is the classification we were seeking. To the west is RL. Further west of that is RM. There's RMC, commercial. So there's a couple of different zoning categories around this site. One of them being the same district that we are seeking, RM. Another criteria in looking at rezoning is what is the comprehensive plan called for. Here's a screenshot of the Greenwood Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Map. And you can see the site has a comprehensive plan designation of mixed density residential. Around the site, there's single family residential areas that are comprehensively planned for that kind of use. There's some commercial, but our site is mixed density residential, and you can see just north of our site, that's that community facility. I think that's the school site is the reason for that comprehensive plan. And so under the comprehensive plan, what does mixed density residential call for? If you look at the definition, mixed residential land use classification allows for a variety of housing types and densities. And one of those types is single family homes. Others are duplexes, townhomes, patio homes. This use is for single family homes only. Not that there's anything wrong with the other ones, that these folks just believe this is a great site to develop single family homes with rather sizable lots. So we don't have an exact site plan yet. We're not to that point. That'll come in the planning process. It's been described in other cases tonight. But this is a preliminary site plan, a conceptual site plan that shows 49 lots with an entrance off of Honey Creek Road. It also shows a pretty significant dedication of right-of-way. So that's down on the right-hand side of underneath the subdivision. And we've had some conversations. We understand that Greenwood would like to have a roundabout at Tracy Road and Smoky Road and Honey Creek Road. I think it's to sort of remedy what's now an offsetting set of roads. And so the Fisher Homes and Grand Communities folks have designed their subdivision to provide enough right of way to allow for that roundabout should it get constructed. The lots that are shown on that site, there's 49 of them. There's about 33 acres, as I've said, so that's a pretty low density. It's about 1.48, so under 1.5 homes per acre is the projected density. These lots would average size of about 10,000 square feet, and they would have dimensions, the average dimensions of about 85 by 125. So those are considerably larger than what your RM standards are. They're not quite the RL standards, but they're considerably larger than the RM standards. What kind of homes do they propose to build? They propose to build a masterpiece collection, and these homes are substantial homes. They range in size from about 2,100 square feet, just under that, to over 3,600 square feet. And as you can see from these illustrations, photographs, renderings, they're handsome single-family homes. They expect to range in price from the 600,000s at the lower end, up into the 800,000s at the higher end. So the staff has have gone over your list of criteria. We appreciate working with Gabe and his team on this, and we've had a number of meetings with them. And analyzing the criteria, the first element is looking at the comprehensive plan, and the staff agrees that our proposal aligns with the comprehensive plan. As I mentioned, it calls for mixed density or mixed use residential. One of those types is single family homes. That's what they propose to build here. The second element is looking at the current condition and character of the uses in the district. I showed you a slide that shows what's around there. We believe this RM is consistent with the surrounding zoning because it matches some RM zoning and other residential zonings that are nearby. The next element is what's the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. We believe that residential zoning would be appropriate given the surrounding uses, and whether, and you have to consider whether this will conserve property values. I think that if you took the even the lower priced home, only 600,000 is a lower priced home, but if you take that times 49 lots, you get an assessed value that's pretty significant. I think that would be in the range of $30 million in that site. And so I think that will conserve property values, actually greatly enhance the assessed value of that site from a farm field to 49 homes at those kind of prices. And you have to consider whether it's responsible development and growth. We would respectfully suggest that because it's compatible with nearby residential uses, it's consistent with the comprehensive plan recommendation, and they designed the site to accommodate a dedication of right-of-way to allow for the potential roundabout. We would suggest that this indicates that this is responsible development growth on this site. Staff has given us a favorable recommendation for approval, which we greatly appreciate. They outlined 6 conditions, and conceptually, the petitioner's fine with all those conditions. On number 5, I would respectfully suggest that where the condition says roadway improvements along the entire Honey Creek road frontage for this project, including roadway widening, 12-foot lanes both sides, and mill and overlay, etc. We don't have any issue with that, but I would like to point out maybe one caveat to that, if I could move there. I think if you look at this exhibit, our Honey Creek road frontage would come from the north to the south, and we wouldn't want to be in the position of widening Honey Creek and then having that roundabout be placed in there, and so you tear out what they just put in. And so I would like to maybe at least think about slightly modifying that commitment, that we would widen Honey Creek in conjunction with working with Mr. Pioni so that it syncs up with the development or installation of that roundabout. We just want to avoid putting a road in and then tear it out if the roundabout comes in. So however the commission and Gabe and Mr. Pioni think about that, I'm sure we can sort that out. The rest of the commitments in terms of working with the traffic, getting a traffic impact study, working with the engineering division and the planning folks, we have no issues with that. We have no issues with designing trails in accordance with the future trail network map. I had a conversation with Mr. Nelson today. I just want to make sure that we wouldn't be putting trails and sidewalks on the same side of the street, and he assured me that we would not be doing that. We have no problem complying with building design and landscaping subdivision standards outlined in the UDO. So members of the Planning Commission, to sort of summarize it, we believe that this rezoning would allow for high quality, single family, low density residential development that is compatible with the surrounding area. We believe the rezoning is consistent with the comprehensive plan recommendation for this site. And it will allow for development of the vacant site, which will result in a substantial increase in the assessed value of the Greenwood tax base. The southeast portion of the site will be reserved and dedicated for potential roadway improvements by the city of Greenwood. And the staff has recommended a favorable recommendation of this rezoning request. We'll try to answer any questions you might have, and thank you again for hearing our case.
Thank you, Mr. Tui. Was there anyone wishing to speak against this? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and let staff provide their presentation.
Sure. So staff is in agreement with the petitioner. This request aligns with our comprehensive plan, which does envision residential neighborhoods of various types and densities in this area. The broader neighborhood successfully has introduced a variety of housing types and densities. While this particular product is RM zoning, it is even a different type of product than the other RM zoning neighborhoods that are going in this neighborhood. It's maybe a little higher end product than some of the other zoning classifications. But within approximately half a mile, we have a RMC zoning. We have RM zoning. Across the street, there is a proposal that was unfortunately continued, but it looked like a great proposal that we'll see in January that incorporated attached paired patio product and RA zoning and our RM zoning. And of course, they have the residential large style lots next to them, and then the Lennar alley loaded product. So we do feel like the overall area really is getting at the comprehensive plans desired for a mix of housing products. With this, we did have the 6 recommendations that Brian outlined. For number 5, which he had brought up, we are not certain of the timing of the roundabout at this moment. So I would not want to remove that commitment. However, the last sentence does say that improvements alignment shall be completed in coordination with the engineering division. I would reasonably suspect that the engineering division, if the roundabout was coming at a reasonable time frame and coming along, would not make them widen and pave something that we would rip out immediately after. So I think that last sentence may alleviate some of the concerns that he has. And we have a representative from engineering here that could maybe speak to how engineering might look at that.
I mean, yes, we understand we don't want to have an improvement that we're going to tear it out within a few years, but I have not heard of a definite timeline for that roundabout. So, yeah, I'd like to keep the wording exactly as it states, and we'll try to use good judgment when we get to that point when they submit plans and maybe have a better timeline on that proposed roundabout. You know, there's been no plans drawn up, there's been no right of way obtained for any of those properties around there. So
it's merely a we want.
Yes, at this time, it is what we want, and they are definitely providing right of way for a portion of that West Lake there of that offset intersection. So that will be a great help.
Roundabouts in your comprehensive railroad or roadway?
Yes, that one, and then there's one proposed someday at Whiteland Road and Creek Road.
Yeah, it's a good place for a Tracy needs it.
Yeah.
What's the proposed timeline for these 49 single families, Mr. Chu?
If everything would go according to Hoyle, which it really does, it would probably be start development in fall of 2026, and then probably a 3-year window of sell out of a community that size That's obviously very sensitive, interest rates and other factors, but that's the kind of time.
Question for the petitioner, the renderings that you showed, are these including the side load garages?
Curtis Missy with Fisher Homes Grand Communities. Address is 3940 Olympic Boulevard, this Erlanger, Kentucky, 41018. They would allow for side load as well as front load.
Thank you.
So that would be an option.
Any other commissioners with questions?
I would remind you, as Mr. Tui very thoroughly addressed, the statutory criteria for making a recommendation regarding the zone map change. 1, the comprehensive plan. 2, the current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in each district. 3, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. 4, the conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood. And 5, responsible development and growth.
And with that, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Vice President, I move that the petition for a zone map change to rezone approximately 32.96 acres of land located on the northwest corner of Smoky Road Road and Honey Creek Road within the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, from AG Agricultural District to RM Residential Medium Lot Zone as set forth therein receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented, but with the following commitments. The development shall comply with all applicable design, landscaping, buffering, and subdivision standards outlined in the UDO. Trails shall be designed and constructed in accordance with the Greenwood Future Trail Network map and applicable trail standards in the comprehensive plan and UDO. Traffic impact study shall be completed. Scope of that study parameters with the engineering division. Work with the engineering and planning staff to determine the restricted donation amount based upon TIS or the traffic impact study for the proposed future roundabouts at Honey Creek Road, Smoky Road Road, Tracy Road, and Honey Creek Road / Whiteland Road. Number 5, roadway improvements along the entire Honey Creek Road frontage for this project include roadway widening to 12-foot lanes, both sides, known and 1.5 inch. Is this inch?
Yes.
Inch, yeah. Overlay of entire roadway across entire frontage along the acceleration and deceleration lanes and passing Worcester. Proper right-of-way dedication, including the depiction of the proposed roundabout or intersection realignments at Honey Creek Road, Smoky Road Road, Tracy Road to be shown on plans, but improvements and alignment shall be completed in coordination with the engineering division. Number 6, all and any recommendations or improvements identified by the TIS shall be coordinated with the engineering division.
Motion by Ms. Stambaugh, second by Mr. Walker. Any last comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor show by raising a hand. Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Again, I don't think it applies to anyone, but docket numbers PC 2025-079 and PC 2025-081 have been continued to the January 12th meeting. With that, any new business from the floor? Seeing none, any announcements? One, have a happy holiday, have a happy new year, and one final motion.
Move to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.